this is Mackenzie Dunn back again with another speed video of a drawing I did for Facebook's Character Challenge Design. The Character Challenge Design theme this month is Harry Potter, so I chose to do a cute little character rendition of Harry and Hedwig. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to create a little basic shape that my character can go off of, just make sure proportions are correct. I then go back in and start adding the facial features. I often struggle with poses. Another thing you can kind of see that I preset into my Photoshop project is I already collected a bunch of reference of Harry, mainly for his face and just kind of his body shape, and his hair most of all. Also, I did not know what side the scar was on, so I had to figure that one out. And as you can see, I started out with kind of a base layer there of a sketch just to get that shape and proportion, and now I created another layer on top of that. I turned the opacity down on the original sketch, and now I'm going back with a solid brush and solid lines. There's me again opening up the Hedwig reference folders that I have. And here I'm just kind of drawing where I think he should be. I drew this shape and I really liked it, so I just kind of stuck with it and kept building off of that. Once again, the base layer, and then turn the opacity down, a new layer on top. Now I'm going to go in with the coloring, and what I usually do is I just kind of sloppily color in there. Oh, I messed up on the fingers. I'm sure most artists are like me. We all hate hands. And then there's the crazy artists that love hands. But anyways, I'm just kind of playing with my color options here, and I'm just going to sloppily throw it in there, and cleanup will come back later. As you can see, there's really no shape or form to it. I'm just kind of throwing it in there. I'm pulling up that Harry reference again, just kind of get an idea for his clothing. There's more precise ways to do this. I just kind of used my paintbrush. I have more fun kind of painting it in there rather than creating straight lines. I think it gives the drawing a little more character as well, so it's not something I'm too worried about. This is me going back through, cleaning up the excess around the edges and just making sure all those colors fill those lines. Selecting color for his hair was a little complicated because this is kind of a it's not as saturated. It's a little less on the saturation as a whole, so kind of spot checking the color from his actual hair to what I want in this painting was a little hard to do. Here I gave Hedwig some softer features just because he's got the nice blend on him in his face and on his chest. It was so nice, so I just came in and used a soft brush to kind of lay in those darker tones. Here we're just giving accents to Harry's face and his glasses, just kind of make the image pop a little bit. For the most part, it's pretty good right now. But I do want to make it pop a little bit more, so I'm probably going to add a multiply layer here. And I turn it down to 75% gray, and on multiply, and I just come through and it just darkens those up. I'm really awful at trying to figure out where the shadows lay. I know there's rules and I know I should pay attention to them, but I just kind of try to keep everything on that's like consistent, you know. The light's obviously coming from the left, so I just want to keep those shadows to the right. How it bends around curves and shapes, I just kind of arbitrarily do the best I can and just kind of test out, see what I like. Just like what I did with the hair here, like, oh, that looks good, I'll stick with that. So now we have Harry popping out even a little bit more. Still playing with those shadows. Now I'm going back through and I'm adding texture to the robe. So I went to select and color selection, and that selects just the dark gray of the robe, and I added a new layer, and I turned down the opacity, and I just kind of flicked some texture on there. I turned down the brush opacity just to put some texture on there, just kind of break up the solid monotony. If you were creating this for an actual animation, you would probably want to keep the solid colors. But you know, some shows did get fancy with the texture, like Chowder. They had textures on their characters, and but that's more so a design selection. When you're creating a character, you'll probably just want to keep it plain and simple, and then later you can come back. Or, you know, if the art director gave you the direction of doing that, then definitely apply it. So here I'm checking out my lighting situations, what I want to do, and ultimately I chose to do a gradient. So I just created a light yellow to kind of a more saturated yellow, and I dragged it left to right to get that light on. And I put it on an overlay filter on that layer there, and I turned down the opacity so it wasn't so strong. And honestly, I just do that and I go through and I check all of the layer filters there just to see what I like best and what would work best. So you don't have to use the overlay filter. You can use any of them. Just flip through them and see which ones apply best to your artwork. Once again, I'm adding that lighting and texture to the boots. Adding a drop shadow underneath just to kind of place them into real space. I come back through and I kind of erase the edges a little bit just to make it not so stark. And there you have it. So, yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions about my process, I know it was kind of a quick speedrun video. If there's a certain part that you had a question about, or you want to know the process in which I do it, don't be afraid to leave a comment. Please like, subscribe, and I'll get back to you on that comment. I'll even do another video that will slow down the process and show you in depth about what I'm doing and how I do it. So I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks, guys.